I know that there are a lot of light workers like yourself in the world, but it'll be really interesting to hear a first-person perspective on what does that mean, and if you were to describe what you do, what would you say it is that you do?
I think I told you once that when you feel deep in the core of who you are, that you are just a channel, right? An instrument, then it is very difficult to ask the instrument to define anything. For example, you wouldn't ask a piano to define music. You wouldn't ask, I don't know, a pot to define cooking or to tell you how it came out. So it's like very difficult. But there is things we can say and things that I can express because, after being on this planet for almost 70 years, you learn something looking back. And I look back to my very, 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 very early childhood and I realize I got such a big hiding when I was 6 or 7 because there was like a big colony of leper people. And my parents always said to me, "You're not allowed to go and play around there and go there." And guess what? You tell that to a child, the curiosity gets bigger. And then I thought, I want to see these people that are suffering. And when I look back, I realize it wasn't as much to go against my parents, but it was a deep desire that had come with the little soul that I was then to help. And so that has defined my life. And after that hiding, I got many other hidings because I was all the time in the hut of somebody sick. And I was perpetually attracted to people in suffering.
And you felt that you could offer them something, that you had something to offer them, and that through you could help them in some way.
Yes, I didn't know. I didn't know. When you are a child, you don't know of the people where I grew up being so rural. They would tell me that I had the gift, whatever that translates in the language that we were speaking at that particular time. But you don't understand that. But if somebody comes to you and says, put your little hand here, and then the next day they tell you that they feel better, that is like extraordinary. It goes beyond that. It goes really to the deep core of what is inscribed in the soul arriving on planet Earth. So you've got souls that want to help, souls that want to build, souls that want to dance, souls that want to play music. So we all have this unique talent and this unique desire for our lives, and that in me expressed, and I was totally focused on sick or suffering people. That's where I would go.
Can you describe what do you do in a healing session? What's your process? Is it the same every time? Is it different? Do you have a protocol?
Well, first, I want to hear the patient. That takes the longest time. So sometimes takes an hour, sometimes takes 2 hours just to listen. It's not that I am a bad listener, but I do interrupt them a lot. I do make them conscious because people have got this song playing, I am a victim, he hurt me, that one beat me, whatever. So I have to interrupt them to make them see, and I interrupt them with love, because, people come to me very fragile, especially after trauma of any kind. But I do say to them, can I make you see that you are playing a role as you're telling me that? You're playing a role of a person that is disempowered. I understand you've been hurt. I understand you've been beaten up. I understand you've been whatever, raped. It goes on and on and on. But can you see that DVD or CD or whatever? It goes on and on and on and on. So you have to sometimes make them aware because we have forgotten the power of words. So from stopping them sometimes, I take them to laughter because I always say, just imagine if we're playing the role, then I also have to play, now you make me play this role that, I know it all and I'm going to make it better and I'm going to make it disappear. And that's not how it works. Because We are so perfectly and divinely encoded from within that we all understand deep down what is happening to us. And so it's important to connect to that aspect of you that is truly divine and say, what part could I have played in this event in my life? What did I do? What did I say? What did I not do? What did I not say to attract something like this in my life? If I have gone through an episode of violence, what part of me expressed violence somewhere? And if you start doing all this search within, then you realize that deep down, everyone you encounter is going to mirror back to you a part of yourself.
Lou, it's so interesting that you say that. My experience, or at least whatever I've seen in the world so far, has been so different. I see people that are doing horrible things and they get off scot-free. At least it looks like it. People that are war criminals, killing millions of people, and it looks like they have a great life. And then you hear stories of like the social worker lady who is so kind and dedicated her life to social work, and then she gets like held up and killed by the same people that she was trying to help. How do you make sense of that?
I don't think that we can forget that there is a lot of evil in the world. Evil always comes across as victorious, but it's not so. It's a fake victory. We could go into politics. I mean, I could slide straight into the Middle East and tell you what's happening there. It's very evil. What happened in Germany to the Jewish people that are now doing the same thing is also just as evil. So then we have to understand there must be a law somewhere, if we are eternal spirits, where the souls that inflicted something like this now have to experience something like this. And I often wonder, the Middle East, partly victims and Nazis all over again, the same souls playing the same script all over again. When you study Hinduism, the great philosophers of Hinduism and the great masters and the great minds and the great souls and the great saints always talk about this cosmic play where everyone is playing a role. When their life comes to the end, of course, the role is finished. But the life here is not the hand of anything. It's just the hand of the body, because the body is made of elements that belong to the earth. So they will stay on earth, but your spirit goes. And when it's ready, it comes back, takes another costume from those earth elements, makes a new body. Depending on where you've been before and how you evolved, you're going to be placed, or you choose to be placed in this area or that nation or that culture or that color, so that you learn again from experience to become better, to not repeat your errors. Or simply, they also believe in sow and reap, more like the Christians do, that you have to pay. If you have a debt to life by mistreating it, you will have to live a life where you are mistreated. So that doesn't take from the pain that we experience. And I personally, by watching what's happening in Gaza, for instance, and I see these people breathing this dust of all those explosives and everything. And I always think, if I was there, I wouldn't last 2 minutes, because my weak spot is my lungs. So I feel great pain and I feel great sorrow. And if I lived nearby, I would probably be there and already be gone. But obviously, my soul chose to be somewhere else. But it is important for us to understand that if we are truly eternal souls, then we live forever. And everything that we have inflicted upon someone as pain, we're going to have to experience it ourselves, because how else would we understand what we've done?
I like to think about it in a slightly different way.
Go for it. I want to hear.
So I think that whatever we do, the pain is in the action and the benefit is in the action. So as an example, well, I like to think at least that the person who is Or the people that are ordering the killing of so many people, they have no peace in their life. And maybe the social worker who was killed by the people that she was trying to help, it doesn't matter actually, because she lived her life very internally, like she had a deep sense of accomplishment or peace or joy. And that's how I like to think about it. I think just from my own experience that when we do something that has a positive effect in the world or on people, we feel good inside. And ultimately, what is the purpose of life? Why are we all after certain things? It's for our own experience, right? So as an example, why do I want success, financial or otherwise? It's because it makes me feel good inside, or at least I think it will make me feel good inside. And the same way, like we avoid doing bad things because in the action of that is the pain for your soul and also
Yes, absolutely. And we can see that with what's happening to the Israeli soldiers. They are totally damaged. They are completely, those people will never be human again. They will not be functional because they broke all the lines. They passed all the barriers of cruelty. And on top of it now, apparently there is a list on the ICC with photographs. So they can't even travel. They can't go anywhere. And so they damaged themselves already. And that is because also in terms of time, there is an acceleration of time. What you do now, you want to pay now. You're not going to have to live again and come. I think we are at the end of cycle of incarnation for the souls on this planet because a lot of people are unaware of the fact that we are reaching an end of cycle for redemption.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we are witnessing, for example, in Gaza and some other places, is the end. That is why for us that already have evolved a little bit above an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth and a leg for a leg and I don't know what, we are feeling that so profoundly and so painfully in our souls and in our hearts because we are already ascending to some degree, right? The planet Earth is a consciousness of such benevolence and such motherly love that it has accepted what is called laggards from other systems and other planetary systems. And so we are reaching that limitation of the Earth. So we are close to 9 billion. And we are souls that come from many different worlds and many different dimensional fields. And everyone is trying to learn now because they know, and we know at some level, that this cannot continue. We cannot continue to go on this cycle. We just have to open the pages of history and it's aura after aura after aura after aura. But having said that, it is part of the learning. It is part of the realization of how we are one with every single thing around us. We are one with the earth. We are one with the ocean. We are one with each other. We are one with the universe. We are one with the cosmos. We are one with the galaxy. We are one with everything. There is nothing that we are not a part of. But we are not taught like this.
Yes.
We are not taught like this. We are taught as in them, black and white.
Yes.
Less white, but less black, whatever. Everything in our planet to this point has been taught to humans to separate them. Look at children in a crash. They don't see each other's color at all. You don't. You don't see your color. You don't see. I grew up in rural areas. I was the only white person. Nobody ever told me that I was the only one white person.
I hope you found today's episode insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Subscribing helps a new podcast like ours immensely. And until next time, don't be a sheep, keep questioning, stay curious, and never stop exploring the extraordinary.